Yo, Scrawny with the skinny, coming back for another fantasy land. We got Pro League around the corner. We got plenty of Counter-Strike, maybe CS2, maybe CSGO. Who really knows what's about to happen? I don't. Or so I want you to think. I actually know exactly what happens, which is why you come here to consume my fantasy content. Cause look, ya done did it again. Top 4% at Gamers 8. Cha-ching! We nailed it. Went with the Sunpaya snappy pick. Could have gone for Nertz instead. I did back in Cologne. Was one event too early on Nertz's performance. Still got that Flamesy money. Still got that TSS cash. You know what it is. Top 4%, man. I take it. 4 grand finalists. Beautiful. So with that, your boy is now third place, tied with P2, 58 points on the season, 1 point behind Maniac, who just threw his early lead. Prof got some bullshit, lucky 1% finish. Oh, look at this guy. He's in first now, huh? Prof, I see right through you. I'm coming for it. Darth Mike, congratulations, by the way. Top 5. Never thought I'd see Mike in the top 5 of fantasy, but he also had himself an excellent event. Maybe because he finally stopped picking North American players. You got a taste of victory, didn't you, Darth? You love it. I know. I do too. All right, so goofs and gaffs aside, boys. Let's talk fantasy for Pro League Group A. Now, 2 very important things to remember. The 2 teams that make it to the upper final will get 3 rounds of padding points. The team that wins the lower final will get 2 rounds of padding points. Those points are immense. I cannot understate how important it is to get players from teams for the majority of your draft that will move forward in those places. And that means one of these teams from down here between Furia, Movi, Greyhound, and Gamer Legion. So I see it going like this. Vitality, Smoke, Orcs, farm points. Mwah. Astralis will beat Ninjas in Pajamas. The Ninjas have not been looking too sharp lately. And Astralis, fantastic cologne. I mean, we almost had them in frickin' playoffs, bro. And I don't think that's going to stop once they get back on land. Screw their online woes at the moment. It's online CS. Who cares? So Vitality versus Astralis in the upper semifinals. I'm personally going to take Vitality. I just think that they have everything they need right now. And it's a low-pressure game, so we'll get a great version of Flamesy, etc. Astralis could make that upset happen. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be probably the best game of this group. It will be Vitality Astralis in the upper semifinals. But let's say Vitality go on, locking in that upper final spot and 3 rounds of padding points. I expect Furia to beat Movistar Riders and Gamer Legion to dispatch of Greyhound. Now, Gamer Legion versus Furia is an interesting game. Everything would lead you to believe you gotta go with Gamer Legion, right? Ranked 7th in the world right now, pretty consistent. Surprised us in Cologne when we thought that maybe the departure of Ime and Shuhei were gonna cost them. But no, this Gamer Legion looks legit still. But Furia, right? Been struggling lately. What if that changes now? Huh? What if that changes here? Okay? I believe that one day all of us will regret not drafting Cloud9 because there's going to come an event where they just run it, right? It's going to click. I think Furia are the same thing. I believe this is the event that Furia could click. So I'm going to say Furia actually beat Gamer Legion here. I'm going to say Furia do it. Take that second upper final spot. Teams go down here. Wumbo Jumbo, who comes out on top? The 4 teams I have painted to go through will be Vitality, Astralis, and Furia as the most convincing. And then Gamer Legion will come through in number 4. Now replace Furia with Gamer Legion. I think that's what most people will have their expectations set for. And maybe some of y'all are going to be riding that Ninjas high, but I'm not. So that's what I expect. Okay? Big on Vitality, Furia / Gamer Legion. You can't ignore the fact that this bottom half of the group goes straight into the upper final. That cannot be ignored. So remember that while we draft. Okay? Get ready. Vitality, obviously, numero uno at this point, right? And usually I say that at Pro League events, you always pick ZywOo. There is a very strong argument for it. But look at these price tags, my friends. $240 for ZywOo, $225 on Flames, $220 for Spinks. Magisk, even Magisk, I mean, this whole team has been outpriced essentially, but I understand why. That's because they're so good right now. So I think the safest bet is to go a double pick on Vitality. And unfortunately, when you look at Astralis, right, their number 1 contender, let's say, you know, if you're going to spend above 230K, you might as well take ZywOo. So I feel like the argument for Device or Blame F just isn't quite there. And then the bottom of the side of Astralis, it's like, if I'm going to draft Astralis, I want Device or Blame F. I don't want to have to pick a player that I can't quite believe in yet with Borup, Stare, and Buzz. Makes me a little uncomfortable. You know, so I'm not going to go heavy on Astralis. But what I will do is take Magisk and Apex. Now, I know, again, you're going to say, why did ZywOo? Flamesy! Listen. Magisk is still solid, and the opening game versus Oryx, there's elo on the line, baby. There's rating, there's points to be had, and it doesn't have to come from ZywOo or Flamesy or Spinx. Now, of the two players that I would prefer to pick here, it's actually Spinx or Magisk. These are the two that I would like to tap in. I think Flamesy's a little bit overpriced at the moment, and I think that extra 5K for this specific event is going to end up being very important, and that is the argument between Flames and Spinx. Spinx to Magisk, right? 5,000 between the first two, 4,000 between Spinx and Magisk. But we'll work with Magisk, and we'll take Apex because he's the affordability of everything else. That's the double vitality, all right? I will scroll past Astralis for now because I want to talk about that lower side of the bracket. Now, again, I'm looking at Gamer Legion or Furia to make it through upper bracket, bada boom, bada bing, lock in those playoffs, make me some padding points, all right? And with these two teams, when I look at Gamer Legion and I look at Furia, right, the fact that K Serato is $209,000 is insane. And if you truly believe in the K Serato / Furia success, like I'm trying to lead you down this path, then K Serato and Yuri cannot be ignored. I mean, we're talking about K Serato, who is so regularly up in the 220s, right? It's like he's been swapped out for a Vitality player at these price tags. So K Serato, if you can find some kind of formula with him, by all means, go for it. Tag me in it, at me, whatever. Ride or die Furia. Mad respect from me. But what I'm going to do is a little tempered 50-50. Okay, I talked that big game. I said, Furia beat Gamer Legion. Yeah, but my draft's not going to reflect that, okay? I'm playing it a little safe. Your boy's up in third. You know, I'm not getting too crazy. So with this one, all right, feel me out. We're going to go for Oppers because when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, an easy op roll can make a world of difference. Those 5 points every day, making money, baby. So we're going A-Core. And we're going Cello. Not just the Oppers. I still think that Cello, as an aggressive rifler, can find space within Furia and will open up opportunities to get us some points, right? No, I'm just kidding. Get the Opper. It's 100% A-Core and Fallen. We're doing double ops after the Vitality duo, all right? Magisk, Apex, A-Core, Fallen. Lots and lots of op points to be farmed here, leaving us with $200,000. And at that point, we return back to Astralis, who we have faith in, despite us not quite liking Stare, Borup, or Buzz. I'm going to give it to the kid. Going back to Cologne, he had a really great first stage. We've seen a huge uptick in his performances. So I think of all these players who are currently overpriced, you know, if Buzz was sitting at 208 with Stare, I think that's where he should be. And I think we're going to tap into just the winningness of Astralis with this here draft, folks. We've got the Sorcerers. All right, we're pulling off some magic at the start of Pro League. Magisk, Apex, A-Core, Fallen, Buzz. That's what I'm thinking, all right? That's my numero uno draft. But we like options, don't we? And I think the whole talk of the town is going to be ZywOo, all right? If you go for ZywOo, which is something that, again, in the past, I have always said at Pro Leagues, you have to pick ZywOo. And maybe I will, okay? Make sure to come back to this video, check the pinned comment, go to my Twitter the day the event starts, and I'll be sure to post my locked-in 100% confirmed selection because maybe I switch. Keep you on your toes. Maybe I switch to this. This is the ZywOo alternative that I present. ZywOo and Apex replacing Magisk. You keep A-Core because Gamer Legion farming with the op. You take Cello, as I teased you with, and Mopaz. Mopaz is the key because a lot of people are going to pick Nealon this event. And Nealon is a booby trap. Yes, Nealon played well versus Apex at Cologne, raised his numbers. All those Nealon pickers, bro, they felt on top of the world. They thought they had it figured out until reality came crashing down around around them, and Nealon tanked their draft. I have nothing personal against Nealon, but he's just not a player to pick in fantasy, especially if you think Gamer Legion are going to qualify, because need I remind you, padding points apply to negative points as well. If you hit padding points and your team or player is in the red, they will continue to farm that negatively, and he will continue to drag you down into the depths of the grubby HLTV forums. Okay, don't fall for that trap. Do not pick Nealon. I'm dying on this hill. Mopaz is the choice instead. Movistar Riders are a team that have a lot of experience on LAN, generally end up playing better than you expect them to every time. They go back online. We get lulled into this false sense of security, like they're not that good, and then they show up and do a thing or two. All right, Mopaz will not be farming you points, but I think there's a slight chance Riders manage to get through, and I think it just affords you so much more. So if you really have to go ZywOo, if your heart's telling you to do the woo, I say just make sure you avoid Nealon. But me personally, I'm not leaning this far because I don't want to have to take somebody like Mopaz. I think this original draft is safe enough, and it still touches in on the double vitality. And then alternatively, if you're really crazy, all right, if you really had the cojones like I was acting like I did, you'd go Spinx, Apex, Quesarado, and Yuri. And then you grab Mopaz for the affordability. What if Furia dispatch of Gamer Legion off of a star-studded Quesarado Yuri Classico? And this is your draft. Think about how good you would feel. Think about how smart you would look. Think about how proud I would be of you if you risked your fantasy season on this draft. This draft is over here. So go ahead, take this one if you please. This one is one that I'm not crazy enough to do it, but I'm at least going to include it in the video so that if I have to, I can go back and say, ha, well, I didn't really do it, so I can't say I told you so. Because this is my team, Sorcerers, all right? 4 weeks of Pro League groups, a 5th week in the playoffs. Pretty crazy format, get used to it. Love you guys. Have a great day. Goodbye.